Hello guys and welcome back to The Real Grind. Well, it's a little bit different today, right? Usually Neander is here saying welcome, saying hi to you guys, but this time is gonna be a little bit different. It's a little more, let's say, something that's happening in the past couple of years, since COVID pretty much, which is the whole remote thing. And this time, we're pretty much part of it because Neander is in New York City. And guess what I'm gonna do? He's not gonna be in the show, but he's gonna be in New York talking to us. Let's FaceTime him real quick. Give me a second. Neander, my brother, what's going on, dude? This is The Real Grind, right? What's going on?
What's up, Italo? I'm here in New York right now on Times Square, dude. I came here, Italo, on a mission to find the best cup of coffee that New York has to offer. But it's been a little chaotic here, man. You know, I usually see a lot of people on Times Square, but it's raining and I'm under the rain right now. But I'm still looking for coffee, still in the morning here, dude, you know. And Delia and I came for a little trip and, you know, so glad to be here.
That's really cool, dude. That's really cool. And you better bring us some good coffee from New York. I'm excited. So tell us a little bit about the whole idea of being able to travel, work, being on vacation with your family, being remote. How are you adapting to that?
Well, of course, man. Well, you know, work never ends. Everywhere we go, we try to fit a little bit in. It's always going to be a phone call or something. And I'm here with my family right now. Look at here. Say hi, boo boo. That's Mia. Here's Delia. And now we're here in the middle of the street, and then I have to pause sometimes to do a few phone calls, to interact with the team. And yes, we are in the middle of capital raising. I was never stopped. But guess what? You know, I have pleasure doing it. And instead of me just neglecting my family, I try to bring them with me in everything I do. And it's not easy sometimes, Italo. As you know, we've been working together for a long time now, and you know that it's not easy. We're always doing something, but it's a skill set that we have, a mindset that we have to also train ourselves to. How can we manage all this? Family, friends, and work balance. And that's what today we're gonna talk in the show with Delia and I. How do we manage to do all those things while we travel, while we have fun, and what our goals are?
Let's go, brother. Let's go. All right. So with no further ado, Neander is going to be talking a lot about the whole idea of being traveling, working, being remote, and how we still, we don't stop. No matter where we are in the world, we have a full team in here that is always working. We're always doing stuff, no matter where we are. So with no further ado, this is The Real Grind. Let's go.
Let's go.
Waking up to success. Now we're getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on, go and make coffee. The real grind. This is the real grind. Let's go.
Welcome back to The Real Grind. This is going to be a special edition. It's going to be a travel to New York. We had a FaceTime with Italo earlier, and it was super cool. But then the idea behind this episode is that actually the team write out a few questions that they like to hear from me and you, Delia. And by the way, name is Neander Lima, Delia Kong Lima here, my beautiful wife and business partner. And it's actually, when I read the questions, which, you know, she was asking me earlier, what is the questions? You know, hey, it has to be spontaneous. So I'm just going to go through them and talk about our business, how it is to be married and the partners and, you know, all of our business. So I want to talk a little bit about that today.
Fire away.
You're going to be legitimate and honest?
I will try my best.
Okay, because, you know, definitely being working together, it's good, but it's challenging, and we're still learning every day how to be better business partners and better husband and wives. But anyway, the first question is, they asked us how to organize work, commitments, and personal life. I guess that question is for entrepreneur, right? Because they said, oh, I opened my own business. You know, hey, I was working 40 hours a week. Now get your own business, you're working 100 hours a week. So from your experience, that especially you that came from a corporate background and all stuff. So how to organize work commitments
and personal life?
That's a tough one. It was a really big transition for me because in corporate, they have a lot of processes. I mean, there's always room for improvement, but they have very defined roles for each employee in each department. And as an entrepreneur, you wear many hats, and you're forming and bettering your own processes among a smaller team, but you're also more invested because you're not part of a big corporation where,
But I think I want to say that you are overachiever. Even when you work for a company, I remember when I met you, you're working after hours. I was working, and not a typical 9 to 5. You were actually going the extra mile to build that company, which is you're already doing that anyway.
I mean, I think the biggest difference is that if you are an overachiever, if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, you're working for yourself. And so at the end of the day, I'm not a spring chicken. I keep getting older. At the end of the day, when I retire, you still have a business that's worth something that continues to pay out. As an employee, you're only as good as the hours you put in. So one day when I near retirement, I'm not going to be as quick. Maybe I'll be very experienced, but maybe I won't be able to travel or keep up on the latest technology or whatever it is in the business.
Yeah, but I think now that we are working a lot in our business, especially now that it's a new business. It's basically a startup, and we have to do a lot of stuff, building teams, building processes, and I think now we do leveraging a lot of our team to do certain tasks, but it's still the touch of you and I in the face of the stuff. And I just want to be very honest that it's being a struggle now to find the balance. I'm talking for me, right? Because probably obviously you have a different perspective, but I am trying to balance my time in a way that I'm not sacrificing, because one thing we can't buy, it's time. Remember last year, one of my biggest struggles, and I shared this with you, and I shared this in other podcasts, and it's though I was being a little guilt of, we all often say, oh, I'm doing this for my kids, but it's really not. Because the kids, as of right now, they're 5 and 2. They don't need nothing but our love and food and, of course, shelter. But that's what they need the most. It's not necessarily related to money, right? But at the same time, it's like, to have time, you need to have money. To have, especially in this world, I think, making money is not essential, but it's definitely something that to buy that time that you want, you need to have resources and money. So, and then I watch Grant Cardone saying that, I bring my kids into my business, to my world, what I'm doing. And that kind of gave me a sense of like, I want to be, or my kids to be more involved in what I'm doing. And so I'm trying, and I felt improvements. We saw improvements, especially in our youngest daughter, Chocolate, Mia. She's, by spending more time with her, she bloomed, she got this growth. And so going back to the original question is, how do we find the balance between work life and life balance, right? And we still figure it out. That's the truth.
I think the truth is that money helps you buy time freedom. So when they talk about financial freedom, it really frees up your ability to make choices about how to utilize your time. Where you working that extra hour for overtime, or are you building something that will, how we talk about passive income that will pay you, that helps you generate income while you're sleeping or on that vacation. But you have to put in the time now to build that right team, who, not how, and to build those processes, which are extremely essential.
Right. So that was an answer for trying to finding the balance. We're still trying to figure it out. It's not perfect, but I think that we have a pretty good life balance. Like if you put into a perspective, last year, on the summer last year, we took 45 days kind of vacation, and we were traveling. We took our RV all the way to Key West and stopping on the way back in Disney World with the kids, stopped on the beach in Pensacola, stopped in Miami. That was amazing. And I don't think we would be able to do that if we didn't have the resources of if you would be working. Maybe some people work from home nowadays. It's common, but also we spend another 40 days in Brazil at the end of the year with our families and such. So yeah, we try to.
We were able to leverage our on-site teams that whom we've spent a lot of time with, so they know how to act on our behalf, and we check in with them as well. So
let's go to question number 2. The challenges of the challenges of being married and working together. Who spends more? Who's more controlling, and etc. That's kind of a messed up question, team.
Who came up with these questions?
I know, right? Okay. Well, that's the first time that I work with somebody that I have a love relationship to it. I'll put it that way. Because some people sometimes are co-worker in different organizations, but why don't you answer first?
Well, I think, one of the things is before we got into multifamily, we spent pretty much 24/7 together. And that's one thing I'll have to admit is I never get tired of spending time with you, being with you. And you're very talented. I feel like I'm lucky because, I fell in love with you for, different reasons, our own personal reasons. But working with you, there's some people that are super duper talented, like wear many hats, do a lot of things, and you're one of those people. Like a lot of times during team meetings, people are like, "Oh, you're one of those visionaries, like Mark Zuckerberg," or just one of those people who are invent, create, and build something. So that part I admire. And then one of the challenges is sometimes the same thing with the visionaries. Like, okay, I have this vision. You're trying to get everyone to rally behind you, and we don't see what you see, and you need to guide the team, and always ends up being something incredibly cool and something we didn't anticipate.
Thank you. I don't think I'm a Zuckerberg, but I definitely do. There's some crazy ideas sometime, and for me, I get two kinds of responses. Some people from our team that get super excited, and some of them that get super negative too, like, oh my God, and Neander. I remember one time when we were building our studio, right, and Rocket would come in on a weekly basis to help me out to build. And then I was like, Rocket, I had an idea. And he made a joke. It's like, another one? And I know of that. But, well, answer to the question is of how is the challenges, right? The challenges is that, let's say that sometimes at work or the business, you have to have uncomfortable conversations. And you depend on each other for things. And, so let's put in the perspective that at home, you do something that your spouse or your partner doesn't like. For example, leaving dirty dishes on the sink. And let's say that you have to, hey, you left, you have that little, not argument, but that little thing like, oh my God, you left the dishes out again, And then probably but you do something else. And you have that little friction there at home, right? And then, probably a couple hours pass, and you're cool again. But you have that friction. Now imagine that if both of you have different jobs, so at 7 o'clock you go to work, you both go to different worlds, and you get to experience stuff there, and he takes experience in another world, right? And then when you come back together, you have something to talk about, different experience that they have towards the day. A woman probably, oh, that bitch at work, oh my God, she's horrible. And the guy was like, oh my God, those guys, the happy hour was great. So you have something different to talk about. But now when both of us work together, so we leave home, meet again at work in our office, and now the same things that happen at home, like, oh, left the shoes out this time. I have to put your stuff away all the time. I hear you saying this all the time about me. But then here at work, we have another situation. For example, oh, there is this email didn't go out, or this, is late, or I'm doing something wrong. I'm, using different credit cards from the company, and I should be following protocol and all that stuff, And then we get mad at work, and then we go home and get our challenges at home too. So definitely it is very challenging because we are living on the same
Yeah,
world.
there's no
24/7.
line. You don't leave work and go home and
Yeah.
get your mind off because it's the same person.
But one of the things that I'm going to bring this up live, but that I want to, I think we've been talking about this, but I want to try, that you and I try as a commitment for us to, when we leave work, whatever problems we have from the work, we can go home and, you know, not bring whatever we left at work to home and vice versa. I think that is a something that, I mean, we trust me, and I'm saying this in a it sounds negative, but it's not perfect either. We have our own challenges, right? When the business are going well, we have something to celebrate, and now it's my wins is my win is your wins, and your wins are my wins. So when we celebrate, it's amazing. It's a double win celebration. But when the struggles come, it's definitely something that frustration. So I want to be a better person and to know how to differentiate both. And it's like, you know what, she's if she's struggling at work or I'm struggling at work, at home we can still be at home and stuff. So I think we're doing a lot better, I think, from where we started it. But I think there's room for improvement. What would you say?
I don't know. Right now, I will confess that I pretty much eat, sleep, breathe multifamily. So it's a bit of a challenge, but I think we're getting there.
I'm gonna listen later. I'm gonna be like, why you say this on the podcast? I'm just being very transparent.
I'm just being honest,
you know?
because
Yeah.
after hours, you know, if there's a phone call or
We
know,
definitely
important
take it.
message,
So-
yeah, we take it. And
in New York, like, you know, people are, oh, you're vacationing, dude. Like, remember that day? On Monday, was it Monday? Tuesday. I was, cause obviously we're in the same room. So Delia is out in the room and we're in the same Zoom call. You know, when you're in the Zoom call, like, you know, you can't be both in the same room because there's echo. So I was in the bathroom, sitting in the toilet, and I have my computer in the freaking sink.
and a virtual background, so you
Virtual
can't see.
background so you can see. Luckily we have those, but like, man, I was there for hours. And luckily our in-laws are here. They're picking up the children and taking them to the parks and doing stuff. But yeah, we were in New York. We're sitting right by Times Square. Like, you know, it's working, and it is what it is. At least we're in a different place. We get the luxury of doing that. So that's the price
So
we pay.
that was good. So when we logged out for the day in the evening, we did get to go out and have dinner with my family in New York and go about town in the evening. So change of our backyard.
Sure.
After we logged off.
Yeah, we went to nice date night too, and that's good. So definitely another question, and we kind of wrapping up. The kids, how to present and help them understand the value of what you're building. That's big. I don't think right now they see the value because they really understand, other than they say greenempire.com.
Well, it's not like I'm teaching them NOI and cap rates right now, but I feel like
But I certainly
mindset.
would.
So, for instance, I remember, you know, one of our coworkers, stopped by when you were traveling once, and she gave Ariana the little Multifamily Empire pig. We have this little piggy bank that we have as a promo item, and I remember she told Ariana, "Oh, look at this pig." She goes, "Oh, you use it. You put coins, you put money in it, and you know when you save up." He's like, "What are you gonna spend it on?" And
No, she said you can buy stuff.
oh,
with
you
that,
can
and
buy stuff from it. And I don't know, automatically, I wasn't even thinking. I mean, she was probably, 3 at the time? And I said, no, you're not going to, think about what you're going to spend it on. You're going to save money and you're going to invest. And she looked at me and she's like, wow, that was so powerful, because she never thought of that, growing up or teaching her kids. And for me, it wasn't even a thought for me. That was my immediate reaction. I'll give her a piggy bank. I'm going to teach her how to invest and how to grow her money.
Yeah, that's definitely a mindset that we are. And when we do, I know you and I are on the same page, but there's been certain times that Ariana's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, we have to go to an event or something that's a networking event. It is work. Ultimately, it's work. And we say, yeah, mom and dad needs to go to work so we can pay for this house. We can pay for your clothes and stuff. And I know this probably doesn't make any sense for them, but I think that it's us already telling them this is what it is, life, right? Sometimes, you know, you have to work, but building them this mindset of, you know, being smart and having this education that I didn't have. Like, you did better than I, you know, your family, by saving a lot of money. That's your culture thing. And you guys, your mom, your family told me that you guys are very focused on saving a lot. But saving is different from making your money growth either, right? Saving is one thing. You're just putting your labor hours into savings and for you to have enough. But be able to have this logic and this education about how to make money multiply in a shorter period of time, you know, without, of course, risk. There's risk for everything. But that is another game that I don't think you're...
Well, I think each generation takes the next generation further.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. You're very good on savings with your family background. My family background wasn't good on saving either, but... Or not either, not at all. But I think now what we can pass along with our kids is to combine what we know today, right? Of not just save, but be able to reinvest and let the money work for them. So, but going to the questions then is like how to make them feel, or what we're building. People will say, I'm building this for my kids. I'm not. You know, I'm building this for me to enjoy my kids. When my time is gone, of course, it's going to go to them, but I want them to build something from themselves. You know, I don't want them, oh, my mom and dad is rich, I'm just going to work off of it, whatever. I'm not going to do anything. That's not going to cut it around here. And I think we're pretty aligned with that.
There's a lot of strategies around that, like, you know, skip level trust, et cetera. So, you know, they don't get a penny of it until they're a certain age. So it forces them to build.
I don't believe in that either. But that's another can of worms, okay? We're just answering the question. And the kids, I think they're little, but we're trying to make the best of for them to understand the concept of what we're building as entrepreneurs, which, yeah. And the last question is going to be a message for those who are on entrepreneur and kids in beginning, right? On entrepreneur, kids, and marriage. Well, a piece of advice that I will say, look, man, I mean, it's all about strategizing what is your main goal. And you need to be true to yourself to recognize what is that you're doing all this for. What is your purpose? What is your main goal, right? Because some people think that if they have, I'm giving an example, if like, hey, I want to have a lot of money. But then maybe when you do have a lot of money, what is then? Are you going to be happy when you have a lot of money? Are you going to be healthy if you have a lot of money? Are you going to be loved? Are you going to have friends? Are you going to have a family? Right? So money is just one component of it and one aspect of it. And, you know, we think of the reason that I started to have my own business since the 2010s when I started venture off for my own companies. My biggest motive, it was to be independent, to be able to do my own thing, right? Do what I believe. And, you know, I wasn't for money driven at the time. It was just because I want to have a freedom of my own time, right? Obviously, you end up having more work, you know, sometimes because you do have your own business, but you still have the flexibility of being your own boss. And that was for me by calling my own shots, doing my own hours, work according to me. You know, it's not that I'm not good at following orders or instructions. No, I can, but I work better in the environment that I have control. So that was my biggest motive, and I was hoping that the money will follow along, but that was my main motive. So if I think for a message for an entrepreneur that is starting, find out what's your why first. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. So we make the other day I was making our company. I was just putting everybody on paper. Who do we hire? We have about 20 plus people that work for us. right? And it's like those people depending on us, right? So they are worried about their work, but I'm worrying about our future of our company, be able to afford all the payrolls, be able to grow the company. Also, it's a different kind of responsibility that it chases me around 24/7 versus if I work for somebody, you know, I clock out, I'm home, and that's it. So if you willing to pay the price to have that responsibility, then yes. But maybe, you know, if you find a company that will give you, you know, a piece of the company or shares, whatever, for you to have some kind of skin in the game or something for your own future, but you just like to, you know, then the nice for you. And number two, about marriage, like piece of advice I give is just like, you know, talk about your problems, put it on the table. And that's something that we've been trying to do. And with kids, be true to your kids too. You know what I mean? Be a little bit selfish and be like, I'm doing this for the kids. No, you're not. You're doing this for yourself. We're doing this for us. You know, because I can say I'm doing this for my kids, but if it doesn't work, then my kids will pay the price too. Right? What if one day something goes extremely bad, we'll go out of business, go bankrupt, you know, your kids will lose as well too. So you're doing this for yourself. Your kids will benefit from yes or no, but, you know, like I said in the beginning, all they care about it when they're young and little, it's your love and your time. What is your advice?
I feel like whatever you do, make sure you're 100% passionate about it, whether it's your work, your marriage, your kids. Just be 100% present. And that's all you can do day in, day out. Because, I don't know, life is made up of all the little moments, all the little, you know, all the days add up into weeks, months, years, and before you know it. So I guess time flies, and just make sure you're living your dream, being present.
Well, now we're going to go with the coffee time with Italo. And he's actually got some tips for you how to make a nice cup of coffee. The setup was a little bit different today, but I hope you guys appreciate it. We're being extremely transparent, you know, open up and sharing with you guys our struggles, our winnings, and with our family and business. And I hope that inspire you. And this is the real grind. Let's go.
Let's go.
Thank you for being a business partner and wife and mother of my children.
Thank you, honey.
All right, Neander, thank you so much for passing over to me. It's lovely to see that you're able to go anywhere in this country and still be able to work. We are still able to work. And as we were talking, we're on the topic of on-the-go things. It's very important that we bring some on-the-go options. It's convenient to bring some on-the-go options here on the Real Grind, and the coffee time now is going to be a little bit more of a coffee tip. Speaking of that, so right here in front of me, I have one of the guys that defeat me on the challenge, which is the Nanopresso. Super, super, super versatile on the go. The only thing you're gonna need, it's a source of hot water, and everything else is gonna be on here. So a grinder, Nanopresso, hot water, you're good to go. And the coffee as well. Second option, AeroPress. Same concept. You're gonna need a grinder, your coffee beans, and this, and the recipient, so you can pretty much brew the coffee on top of it. And the last one in here that I have is pretty special. It's one by Outing. So this one by Outing here is absolutely phenomenal. You don't need hot water, just regular water and a grinder and a coffee. So that's all you're gonna need for this guy. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more in depth on this one today, because you've probably seen it on our Instagram. I used it one time. I bought this coffee outside of a Central Market, which is a very nice supermarket we have here in the DFW, where you can get some fresh stuff. Now, needless to say, I got this fresh coffee from there, and I was able to make an espresso right outside of the store. But let's kind of deep dive a little bit more on the Outing here. What's gonna give you very, very impressive machine. Another thing that I always tell people too, if you're on the go, if this is for you, if this message is to you, make sure you have a scale with you. This is gonna be your best friend, so you always have the right amount of coffee per brewing method you're gonna be using. If it's an AeroPress, if it's a NanoPress, if it's an outing, no matter what it is, a scale is one of your best friends. So I already measure 8 grams of coffee. It's here, I already grinded, so I'm not making a whole lot of noise, but it's right inside. So it's ready for the espresso. On the outing here, what is really cool about it is this. I don't know if you're able to see it from there, but it has 4 battery lights in here, and it's gonna indicate how much power this machine actually has. On this one, if you make coffee with hot water, you already have a hot water source, you put it in here, and you make your espresso, you can make up to 200 espressos out of this machine. If you just bring room temperature water or cold water, you're able to make 3 to 5 espressos out of this machine, right? So let's give this a shot, and you're gonna see how convenient this is. So if you don't have a cup, it's a nifty little cup right here for you, where you screw the bottom part, and right here, you have 2 little containers. This is just what's gonna hold the little cup that's gonna hold the coffee ground, and this is gonna be the cover for it. But what is really cool too is this. You can bring one of those Keurig cups. You can just put it in here, lock it in, and put it upside down. Guess what? You're ready to go too. So you can make a Keurig top coffee, or you can make your own ground. So if you don't have a coffee grinder, just go the Keurig route, because a lot of people like that type of coffee. I particularly don't. But if you do, it's another way for you to make it even easier. So it's a couple less things that you need to take with you. You don't need to bring a coffee bag, you don't need to bring a grinder, just bring your little cups in the machine and you're good to go, okay? So putting this aside, because we're gonna be making the real espresso in here. So let me put this guys aside, we're not gonna need it right now. What I actually like to bring with me too, it's super small, is this guy here. It's almost like acupuncture needles, but it helps you kind of distribute the coffee ground whenever you're making espresso, so you can temp it better. But let's do this. Okay, level it out. All right, I'm gonna use this guy here, just make sure everything is good and in place. There's no holes, so there's no channeling. That's when the water finds the easiest way out. So that means that the water is not hitting the whole bed of coffee. So it's just finding the easiest way out. So that's what the water is gonna do. It's always gonna try to find the easiest way out. So if you don't temp it right, you're not gonna get the best espresso out there. So now I'm gonna do a little temping in here. There you go. And now cover this bad boy up. My hot water should be good. The coffee that I'm using today is by Oak Cliff Coffee. So this one is gonna have key flavors of cantaloupe, caramel, and pastry. So looking very forward to how this one is gonna taste on this guy. Because when I made it, I don't know if you remember, but when I did make it outside of the store, I messed it up because I didn't have my scale with me. So let's give this a shot today. So as you can see, I'm just putting the hot water up to there's a little marking inside of here. Boom, done. Now I'm gonna cover this bad boy up. And guess what? It's that time. So like I said, you turn it over, 2 clicks. You can hear the noise, and you can see an amazing coffee coming out. Look at how much crema this thing has. It's absolutely insane. We're done. Pretty nifty, right? There you go. And I'm gonna put it right here so it doesn't spill anywhere. But look at how much crema you get out of this guy. Look at this espresso. Smells amazing. Neander and Delia, I wish you guys were here so we could share espresso. But I'm gonna be a little bit selfish this time around and I'm gonna have it for myself. Oh my. This is phenomenal. This is I'm biased. It's not the cheapest machine out there. I'll tell you that. It's gonna be on the north of 150 bucks, so 150, $170. But if you're an espresso lover, if you like coffee on the go, this is your guy. You can take it on the plane with you. Imagine this, you bring it, this guy, all you ask is the flight attendant for some hot water, put it in there, you make your coffee right there. Make some people jealous next to you because they're gonna be drinking the airplane coffee. You're gonna be drinking some amazing coffee. But this is it for today. This is it for the coffee tip. It was a little bit longer than usual, but I really want you to get the full idea of how long it takes to make espresso on the go and how versatile it is, this machine, and how many other options you also have in here. Let's go. This is the real grind.
Hey guys, real quick before we continue. So if you want to learn a little bit more how to get started and invest in real estate today, please go to their website, multifamilyempire.com. And if you also want to learn how to do the best cup of coffee in your own home, we're going to teach you a lot of tips and tricks. Go to multifamilyempire.com/the real grind. Let's get back to that interview.
And as always, thank you so much for watching The Real Grind, guys. Remember, we're on Facebook, YouTube, your favorite podcast platform. We're everywhere. But just make sure to give us a little love. Give us a thumbs up on this video. Give us a like on Instagram. We're gonna love it. And I always remember, I'm gonna give more tips like this throughout the entirety of our show. So if you want more tips about coffee on the go, how to make coffee at home, all this stuff, give us a follow. You're not gonna regret it. And as always, this is The Real Grind. Let's go.
Waking up to success, now we getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on, go and make coffee.